Whew. What can I say this morning except mind control is what actually comes into my mind. Mind control, which a lot of time is extremely hard to control. This thing called the beautiful mind. Yes, mind control. Being able to control the mind in all of, shall I say, life's circumstances. Because mind control, the ability to control the mind in all of life's circumstances. It is really one of those things that we really don't take a lot of, how do I say, we pay attention to it, but we also don't pay attention to it. Mind control is extremely, shall I say, extremely, it can be extremely difficult. I gotta see where my route is over here. Where am I going? So yes, it's got to be extremely difficult sometimes, mind control. We talk about it a lot. Mind control this, mind control that. But that thing, I remember my soccer days when I come to places like this. But it is, sometimes it can be a very hard task. And especially when we're in a situation that we call difficult. It is very easy for the mind to just, what I call is give up or just shut down. Mind control requires a lot of listening to the spirits just doing their chanting. Mind controls requires a lot of meditation, a lot of meditative practice, shall I say. It isn't, it's not easy. It is not easy. One of the best things that I've ever done. So yes, tracking along on this beautiful, what I call wonderland over here. Trying to get to my destination. So just tracking along and just enjoy being in nature. But mind control is what I'm thinking of this morning. Let me see where I'm going here. I know I came in through the other side once upon a time. But that thing called mind control, it is extremely difficult. I like what I'm actually seeing here, so I'm just sort of just in here, just looking around, just performing this, what I call different experiments. So seeing what it is over here. So yes, mind control. And a lot of things about mind control comes from learning how to meditate. It is funny how everybody is always complaining. I have been around the ones with money. There's always some form of stress going on. with a nice job, nice car. Absolutely just blew me away when the word stress comes into play. Then I'm trying to figure out this place right here, so I'm just doing whatever I like. Then there's the ones who claims they don't have anything. It is the same mindset of just stress and complain. It is amazing because it makes one wonder about this thing called life in itself. How we just take it for granted. So I'm trying to see where I'm going. We just take that thing called life for granted. We always have something to complain about. Just really just enjoying being over here today and just showing you what's around me. So yes, we always have something to complain about. It is really amazing how we've forgotten how to control our mind. So when I hear people talk about, oh, I don't have a job, I don't have a nice house, I'm stressed out. Oh, I have a nice house, have a nice car, I don't like my boss. Oh, I'm single. And don't get me wrong, I've done the same thing too. I just want to stand still today. Oh, I'm single. And I do not have a partner, so I'm going to complain. And it just makes me just wonder about a lot of things, because it's almost like when I'm single, something is wrong. When I'm not single, I cannot deal with the stress of the relationship. I had a job, I want another job. I want another raise. I do not have a job, now I want a job. I want this. And it makes me start to think that, are these things the one that's really making me happy, or it is something within me that I need to actually really just take control of? So I begin to do my own studying. I love this little trail right here. I begin to do my own studying. I'm just standing there, just enjoying myself. And look at these things. So when I begin to do my own studying, meditation, reading, getting up very early in the morning. Look at those trees. I hope everything is all right. That's an ambulance going. I wish them well and safe. So I started to realize that, this thing called happiness has nothing to do with my situation. I love seeing this tree like this. It has nothing to do with my situation. And basically, everything that is around me has nothing to do with my situation. So whatever it is that's triggering that emotion of not satisfaction, it is within me. Because I've been on both sides of the pond, to have money, to not have money, I still find something to complain about. And I hear many talked about, oh, I just don't like my job. When I get there, I'm so angry. And I begin to laugh a lot, because I'm looking at it that, wow, the whole thing behind this thing is one thing that we're afraid to do, and that is isolation. Yeah, I'm stopping while I'm talking today. And that is isolation. We do not want to practice isolation. We are so afraid of being by ourselves. So I'm going to do a quick one, because I got to finish this 26 miles today. I think I've got maybe 12 more miles to go, so I'll be a quick one too. We are so afraid to be by ourselves. I love this right here. And we don't want to do the things that requires peace. And a lot of time, those things that require peace requires getting up very early in the morning A lot of our anxiety, anger comes from our sleep pattern. The Vedic yogis design a lot of things about sleep, how it affects our emotions. And those things we never really take it serious, because most of us, we do not know how to go to bed at 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. to be able to get up early in the morning. We do not understand the daylight and the sun and the sunrise, and how when the sun sets, it means stop eating and going to bed and wake up with the sun in the morning. So we don't do all those things. Everything that we do is against Mother Nature, like the trees, how they grow. So, and really what it does, it creates a lot of mental, what I call mental imbalance. And that mental imbalance, because it's so widespread, so a lot of people with who doesn't have mental control, they are the usually ones teaching our young kids how to be stable. So what it is, we're very quick to prescribe our own emotion to our young kids. A lot of time when the so-called teachers, most of the time, whatever they prescribe to these young kids, these kids haven't even have the recognition of what it meant yet. The word depression probably didn't come to meaning to me until when I was about 15, 16. And I started to think, after I got out of it and be able to study, then I started to realize that these things, it is a thought behavior. Because we see people saying, when I see a 16-year-old, 17-year-old saying I'm stressed, and the first thing that comes into my mind, what are you stressed about? You have a roof over your head, you have 2 loving parents with a brown new car, and I think a lot of time is because that's what those kids are recording. And because in our Judeo culture here, the whole thing about stigmatizing ourselves, once we get to the age of 30, we start calling ourselves old. Most 40-year-olds can't even walk 2-3 miles. So what we do, we accumulate all this wealth and food, and what it does to us, it keeps us out of balance. So what it is, we become more dysfunctional, which is nothing wrong with it. It's just an energy. And the word depression, anxiety, we put it out there so that people can see it. But the truth about all these things is we never talked about the cure. And one of the cure that I've come to realize, whether one wants to believe it or not, is study your sleep pattern. Anytime you go to bed at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., just Google it. Do your own research. Because those hours, if you are not sleeping by 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you just got to look of what it does to you, to your health, to you mentally, spiritually. Because we have 24 hours in the day to do a lot of our things. So these are the things that really, really inspired me, because to really want to study those things, because I was able to get away from what many see as a career. I remember when I was chasing those dreams too. As long as I have all the wealth, I could sleep with all type of women that I want, do whatever I want. It is okay. But when I begin to really, really understand the true meaning of consciousness, that it really comes from love, and that love comes from self-love. So I begin to do the opposite of what society has taught me. I always say this, when I saw my son being born, I knew I can run 100 miles. So from that moment on, the way I look at women is even different. That, wow, if this human being can have this power to actually push out a baby, create another life, or do all those beautiful things, which to me I look as a miracle, and we barely mention it. So that's where the whole ultra running comes into play for me. And I kid you not, the day that I ran my first 100 miles was 120 miles that I ended up with. It really, really changed my whole thinking about consciousness, about what it feels like to be happy within. that day I realized I've never really liked anything that I've ever done in my whole entire life, except for maybe I had a son. But once I finished that race, I realized everything that I've ever done in life, I've never liked any one of it. I just did it just because, like playing football or soccer, for instance. I was really good at it. It just comes natural. I like the the screaming, the women that comes along with it. The whole thing going to school. I never liked school. I just went to college just because they said that's what you're supposed to do. So when I begin to realize who I am internally, even my own family don't understand it, because especially when I turned 50, so I decided to leave my hair like the way it is right now. I truly love my hair so much the way it is. I just decided not to shave, none of that, just to be me, because this is really, really me, and not trying to put on no makeup, in beside, in behind my eyes. So then when I hear that voice again that said just run 26 miles every day, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just really going to just do that. Just get up and run 26 miles a day and say to the biscuit with it all. So I'm doing that, and I see the peace and happiness that it actually gives me. Even though my ego wants all those beautiful things, I was saying to a friend yesterday that, whew, I wish I'd never had sex before, because whoa, whoa, whoa. Once you taste those things, that thing is extremely hard to control. It is the most beautiful, the most addictive things ever. So being able to control it in our society, in our culture, being able to trying to be sexually balanced, it's really funny these days how the whole idea of being cool these days is everybody thinks that they have to smoke weed. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I also see the reaction that I've gotten from most people that does it without control. So it is just almost like we cannot do anything without some form of substance in us. And what that does to me, it just made me just not take advice from many people anymore, because I've done what society tells me to do. I did all that. I've stole, I've chased different women. I mean, I've just done everything that society tells me to do. I've done. Went to college. I did everything. But I realized all those things never just made me happy. And especially being the fact that I have an African background with a Brit, being born in England, the whole idea of you got to speak the proper English, you go back to England, where you're from, it means you're better than other kids. And I realized all this is an illusion. So now I'm more primitive in my own ideology, in my own culture. I really just stopped. It's almost like now I had what I call a feminine awakening. So now the whole idea of religion just really sometimes make me laugh, because I see a lot of my friends, a lot of people who call themselves missionaries or whatever they want to call themselves, they always go into other people's city and trying to convert them. But the moment they face trouble or something comes difficult in their life, they throw that same philosophy that they're trying to teach you that is the best way. They throw it in the garbage, and next thing you know, you see alcohol and all that. So that really makes me question a lot of things. But other than that, I can talk all day about this consciousness, because the more I look at it, even running is consciousness. Because the ability to be able to run very slow and move very slow according to gravity requires a lot of discipline. It is so funny that when I see people running, it's almost like I can see the pain in their eyes, because we're not allowing gravity to pull us. And one of the main things that if you truly want to seek who you are individually, one of the main things I did, period, is study yoga and begin to meditate and do your push-ups. Get up early in the morning. Spend at least an hour with yourself. 2 hours. If you are not giving yourself 2 hours with yourself, And I'm going to hear all the excuses. I have to job, I have a child, I have this. I've been down that road. But the truth is, if you are not practicing your isolation, spiritual part, you're always going to be unhappy. Because this thing called mental health, people getting depressed, the stuff that I hear on social media is almost like, okay, we have to come together and do something about it. Most of the people that talk about mental health, the one thing that nobody has ever talked about mental health, I don't care who you are. If you have mental health issue, begin to walk 5 miles a day and increase it to 10 miles. And you will see all that anxiety disappear from you. I don't care who you are. You want to know why you're depressed? Just go out for a walk. Make walking, I'm not saying running, because people say, I can't run, that's an excuse. But make it a habit to walk 4 to 5 miles a day. Even 6 miles a day. And 6 miles looks like a lot. And if you could walk it fast, it will take you like an hour or 2 hours. Once you're beginning to do that movement, mindfulness, you will see what comes out of it. So yes, that's what I'm actually talking about this morning. Because consciousness is real. A lot of religion, some of the things that they're trying to teach is also real. But the way it's been presented sometimes is almost like a drug. So yes, let me go ahead and finish this 26-mile meditative jog. Running a marathon is just a walk in the park these days. And I'm going to say happy Tuesday, one love, and find yourself. Sit with yourself for an hour or two a day. I share.